And I have trouble finding anything wrong with that game. I mean, it was a bad game, but I can't point to one thing and say why it happened that way. Can you?
Well, the thing that just jumped out at me is how easily they were run on yesterday. I mean, that was one of my concerns about this defense going into the season. I didn't think the run defense was going to be very good. You're going to have drop passes on a windy day, and that certainly was part of the problem for the Browns yesterday. But the run defense and how they got pushed around on the line of scrimmage reminded me a little bit of the Pittsburgh game, and
It's almost like they said.
that's a concern.
It's almost like student body right, the old Southern Cal offense. I'm going to give it to this guy on this side, and he's going to run until they stop him. And apparently, they couldn't stop him.
Yeah, I mean, you probably watched from home as I did, and one of the announcers made the point that Gruden was selling them on how good he feels about his offensive line, and how he felt that they had, certainly had the size and manpower on that line to develop a better running game than they showed all year. So I think, based on the weather conditions, I think Gruden was really pushing the idea that they needed to control the line of scrimmage, and they did. I mean, listen, if I know it's not fair to say, but if you'd been told that at the break they'd be 5-3, almost every Browns fan in the world would say, "Yeah, I'll sign up for that right now." But there is a little bit of a concern in the way it's happened in losing to better teams and getting physically handled in at least two of those occasions.
I actually thought that I was going to say when I got it back from you that if I had told you they'd be whatever 5-3 at the break, you'd be happy with it, and we should be. But you saw what it could have been and how much easier it could have been to have more wins, and that's what kind of ticks the people off. I don't sense the fandom is that upset today. I think they just. I'm not sure why that is. By the way, first of all, do you agree with that they're not upset? And secondly, why aren't they?
Yeah, I just think that they feel like a team that has lost Nick Chubb and now Odell Beckham. That they figure that into the equation. They haven't had the running game that they showed early in the season for a few weeks now, and they are going to get it back. And I think the other thing that fans are looking at less is the opponents that are coming up when the bye week ends. I mean, we're talking about Texans, Eagles, Jaguars, Giants, Jets. Not in succession. There's a couple of other teams in between there, but I think fans are looking at it and saying there's still no reason why this team can't win 10 games and make the playoffs.
Yeah, that would be the prevailing thought, I would think. It's very hard to criticize Stefanski, I think. I don't think he's done anything that's cost him a game. But I'm wondering, as you're watching the game yesterday, I wanted to see if I could email him or tweet him during the game and say, "Hey, by the way, you're allowed to get the 3 points before you get the 7." At the end of the game, he's got the ball, 3 minutes left. He's got 3 timeouts left, and he's down by 10 points, and he gets into field goal range. Now, I admit the field was terrible and the wind was terrible, but you're allowed to go for the 3 points first. It's been in all the books.
I didn't hear him respond to that after the game. I don't know if it was mentioned at all, but I you'd like to think that as organized and as with it as he seems, that there were conversations had with special teams coach and kicker, and maybe he just didn't feel great about trying that from that distance at that end of the field. So,
no, but it goes hand in hand with the week before when he made a bad choice on against Cincinnati, and he didn't think that Joe Burrow could reach the end zone with a pass to set up a Hail Mary, and clearly he made it by 10, 15 yards. So I think, is this something we should worry about it?
No,
I'm a little worried because my clock management position, and if they're not going to give me any opportunities to use it, why bother?
I just saw a tweet from Ron Jaworski, who I got to know a little bit when I covered that team when he was quarterback in Philly, and he was raving about Stefanski and the Browns and how much more of a professional organization they look like right now. And I think that'll be my takeaway from this first half of the season, that they've been disciplined. They're getting plays called in on time. I know that's not an especially high bar, but we've seen the effects of it in games when that hasn't been the case. So I think overall he's done a very good job, and especially facing the challenges he did as a rookie head coach with a new staff and not much of a preseason to even speak of.
And COVID.
Right.